All right, turning now to other news. New details this morning on the travel issues out of Newark Airport. They are even worse than first thought as delays and disruptions continue to plague the New Jersey airport. This morning, we're also getting new audio from last week, which could explain how this all started. In it, we hear an incident where air traffic controllers lost radar and some contact with planes flying around Newark for between 20 or 60 and 90 seconds. Take a listen to part of that audio.
Approach lost all the radars. 3 of the 4 radar screens went black, and they have no frequencies. They may lose you on for certain times of when you're flying.
This incident resulted in 5 employees taking leave for trauma, and because of that, there have been huge staffing issues leading to a week of what some are calling chaos and meltdowns. As of right now, they are still slowing traffic into and out of the airport to deal with the staffing and equipment issues, leading to massive delays and cancellations for travelers across the country. When news like this happens, we'd like to bring in aviation expert and former Navy fighter pilot Matthew Whiz Buckley. Whiz, thanks for joining us once again. Talk to us first about this incident last week. Air traffic controllers losing contact with planes near Newark for about 60 to 90 seconds. That's what's being reported. How alarming is that, especially if planes were flying blind?
Well, it's absolutely alarming, and I'd love to say I'm shocked, but folks, I'm not shocked at all. Our air traffic control system is using radar technology from the 50s and 60s. GPS came about in the mid-90s, and the air traffic control system is still using vacuum tubes and floppy disks. There are a lot of people alive right now that don't even know what I just said. So it's absolutely alarming, and let me make it just slightly more alarming. This is going to get worse before it gets better.
Okay, I'm glad you said that. In fact, you just took my question. Help us sort through this because Newark Airport has received $170 million since 2022 for runways, taxiways, and safety projects. But Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy, in an interview last night, says we have old infrastructure in America, like you just said, and it hasn't been updated in 30 to 40 years. Are we seeing that play out right now with Newark? And again, like you just mentioned, will we see that more often with other airports in the future?
We absolutely will. And it's sad to say, but our government loves to throw money and bodies at a problem. And clearly that isn't the solution. Right now, if we employed more AI technology, air traffic control, if it was more automated and using GPS, would sequence things near flawlessly. But having humans in the system that are barely meeting the qualifications is just a recipe for disaster. And obviously getting into construction and runways and approvals and stuff like that, this is just, it's an absolute train wreck. And it just doesn't seem that our government has the willpower to act until something breaks, until something is just in an absolute state of crisis that the government chooses to act. But we are 10, 20 years stuck in lag, stuck behind where we should be in our air traffic controller system. And like I said, it's going to get worse, sadly.
All right, maybe this incident changes things. I know that we're hearing a lot from Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy in a cabinet meeting last week. And of course, right now, he has been making the rounds since January in that incident in Washington. What is the workaround, though, if you're a pilot and air traffic goes down, or if you're an air traffic controller and you suddenly do not have contact? I fly just about every weekend. Over this past weekend, I'm in the air 35,000 feet. What is happening up front that should concern me? Or should it concern me? Because you said 60 to 90 seconds, they didn't hear anything. Can they still communicate with other planes?
Yeah, so let's go back to rule 1 of aviation. As a pilot, as the pilot in command of an airliner or any aircraft, rule number 1, don't hit anything in the air or attach to the ground. So the number 1 responsibility of every aviator sitting in front of these cockpits is eyeballs out of the cockpit, is to see and avoid. We've become really lazy and get dependent on technology, but like we talked about ages ago with the Washington, D.C. mishap, complete failure of the pilots in the cockpit to see and avoid another aircraft. So that's rule 1. So when something goes down like this, it's eyeballs out of the cockpit. So I wouldn't be too concerned. But yeah, and there's also rules of the road. If you're heading east or west, there are different altitudes you need to be at. So there is a default in the deconfliction in our air traffic control system. If things really go bad, But if we're resorting to that, just pilots talking to each other on the radio and hoping everybody's on the right altitude, it has the potential to be a very bad day. We saw in the DC mishap, they were talking to a controller and they were still on the wrong altitude and a little off course, and a horrific tragedy ensued. So we have got to throw the full weight and speed of the government behind this, but I almost laugh when I use those two words in the same sentence.
All right, yes or no, 3 seconds. Is air traffic control system, is that the first thing you would concentrate if you were working for the Trump administration? Yes or no?
Absolutely, 100%.
All right, maybe they will. They'll take that advice. Whiz, always a pleasure, man. Again, love having you on for insight and context, but hate having you on that this situation happened in Newark and people are safe, and maybe this will send the alarm bells to Washington, D.C. Thank you.
Yes, sir.